We are learning new details today about the harrowing scenario facing civilians inside Gaza. The Washington Post details a story of a 27-year-old woman's experience giving birth to her fourth child in the midst of this conflict. Her uncle's cell phone flashlight, all they had to see by, where he delivered his niece's baby on the spot of a cold earth between tents. Quote, they cut the boy's umbilical cord with an unsterilized scalpel, and they filled tin cans with hot water to keep him warm. Joining us now, Dr. Tanya Haj Hassan, pediatric intensive care doctor from Doctors Without Borders. She is also the co-founder of Gaza Medic Voices. I thank you, doctor, for your time. How does this story compare to what you're hearing on the ground there in Gaza?
Yeah, you know, people who have seen everything, colleagues of mine who have been in Iraq, Yemen, Syria, you know, have been working in the humanitarian sector for decades, have run out of words to describe this. I ran out of words to describe this over 2 months ago now. That story that you just shared is one of so many stories that we hear on a daily basis. Some that I can share with you right now. What is clear is that conditions are utterly catastrophic. And every story is, you know, the subject of nightmares, things that we never thought we would get to, not in our lifetime, not in the 21st century. You know, at this point, you mentioned earlier the staggering numbers of those killed and injured thus far. Just today, in the past 24 hours, almost 200 Palestinians in Gaza have been killed, and over 350 have been injured. And unfortunately, we can't get data from the central and northern parts of Gaza, where it is very difficult to get communications, where hospitals are essentially almost entirely out of function. And as you know, there are still thousands trapped under the rubble that cannot be counted in those figures, some that may be alive, the majority of whom are probably dead at this point. The amount of suffering in the Gaza Strip for those who are still alive is really indescribable. They are besieged, unable to flee, have been told forcibly displaced multiple times to areas they are told are safe, which in effect don't turn out to be safe, as has been the case with even the organization I work for, Médecins Sans Frontières, who on multiple occasions was thought to be operating under safe or deconflicted circumstances. And unfortunately, we have lost 4 of our colleagues who were killed in attacks. And the entire population who has survived so far is displaced. The majority are living in tents in the cold of the winter. I'm speaking to you from Amman, Jordan at the moment, and I am telling you I am indoors in a heated home and I'm still cold, and it is raining outside. I cannot imagine what life is for all of these people, and for the particularly, you know, the tens of thousands of children and newborn babies that require very warm conditions to survive.
And I want to talk to you about that because, you know, in a war, and a war is always just the most horrible representation of humanity. In a war where there are no, on one side, Hamas, you know, these are not people in uniform, so they're to discern who is Hamas and who is a civilian is in of itself difficult. But then there's the issue of women, pregnant women and children. Those clearly are not fighters, and so their plight is included in that complicated, confused battle going on every day in Gaza. How can the world, how can we help specifically those that are clearly humanitarians, that are civilians, and how can we help them in a humanitarian fashion?
Look, the demographics of those who've been killed in Gaza so far almost exactly mirror the demographics of the population. Those are not the demographics of war victims normally. Normally, war victims are predominantly young men. What we're seeing in Gaza is about 70% of those killed so far are women and children. Though what are being considered targets are hospitals, clinics, schools, mosques, churches, UN schools where internally displaced people are sheltering. So this is indiscriminate bombardment. We've had MSF clinics, facilities, ambulances, as have other NGOs been targeted. So it's hard to then hear people try and describe this or justify this as collateral damage or just a consequence of war, when the realities on the ground suggest that nowhere is safe and suggest that in locations, buildings, institutions that are protected under international humanitarian law are not protected and are intentionally being targeted this targeting is being justified. There is no justification for bombing a hospital. There is no justification for shooting through a window of a hospital and killing a healthcare provider who is doing their utmost best under extremely difficult conditions to keep the few people they can alive without resources, without supplies that we haven't been able to get in. There is really an immense avalanche of human suffering that could be prevented. It is all man-made.
Dr. Tanya Haj-Hassan, thank you. Thank you for your time. I always appreciate it.
Please, I just want to add just one last thing. You were talking earlier about preliminary measures for immediate and effective measures, essentially to enable the provision of urgently needed humanitarian assistance. We know that the conditions on the ground. It is impossible to do that without a ceasefire. It is impossible to get the aid to the north. It is impossible to get the aid safely to Middle Gaza. Yesterday, people who were trying to get aid that was coming in through aid trucks, thousands of civilians were ultimately shot at. At least 20 were killed, at least 150 were injured, trying to reach the humanitarian aid that had come in. And the amount of aid that is coming in is woefully inadequate. So adequate or sufficient humanitarian aid is only possible with a ceasefire.
Doctor, thank you. Appreciate that. And thank you for that last part as well. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.